Hi, I'm Susan. This is Wild Cottage. Welcome. We see here sort of Shep, who's a retired sheepdog. You may have just seen Mimi, who is the puppy we found abandoned in the forestry just over there 3 years ago. I live here with my partner Tom, and we live in the hills of County Clare in the west of Ireland, and it's a small holding for nature. As we do a lot of things, try to be in harmony and encourage nature. Yes, but this is a knitting podcast. Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this, but I had a little listen back with the microphone, and it seems like you can hear me okay without the microphone, but you can also hear the stream better. I think the birds are about the same, but it just seems to pick up the stream, and I really want to include the babbling of the stream because it's so nice. I wanted to share the stream with you. I'm so touched by all your lovely comments. I really am. And also, we are just growing in subscriber numbers. So if you're a subscriber and you've been here before, thank you so much. I'm so glad you've come back. New viewers, you're so very welcome as well. If you enjoy it, and I hope you do, you know, a subscribe and a like is very much appreciated to help grow the channel. Also, when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway and of a couple different things. I talked about it a little bit on podcast 1. There will also be a charity element involved. I have some interesting ideas for that, I think, but I'll wait till I flesh that out a little bit to share with you. But we'll have a couple different prizes, so it won't be just one person winning, is my thought process. Okay, so today is the 28th of February. Yesterday was the full moon. We're having a really beautiful spell of weather. In Fahrenheit, the temperatures are going up to a high of about, 52. Low, like, well, we had some grass frost down at the bottom here of the valley in certain places. So it's still getting cooler at night, but yeah, anyways, so this is not a gardening podcast. So having said that, my fingernails, I have scrubbed and scrubbed. I think they're not too bad, but they do get stained over time from the compost in the soil. So hopefully they're not showing up too grubby. Where are we at the minute? Let me just say. So this is the little stream that runs in front of the cottage acre, and on this side is the cottage itself, and on this side is what we call the wee wood. It's a wet woodland, so it's very damp. There's a lot of alder and willow and birch, and there's some holly growing along, and we're just coppicing a little bit by bit. It's very small. It's maybe a quarter of an acre, but we're just coppicing some of it to let a little bit more of the light in, and so we're learning about how to do that, but we're just slightly managing this wild bit here. It's all native. It just is all self-seeded. Years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I'm not sure, but that was just kind of like it was open, and it just naturally seeded itself there, which is great. Okay, what I have for you today is I have 2 finished objects. I have 2 works in progress, some knit-alongs. I don't have a whole lot of ooh shiny. I'm trying to keep this podcast down in time because we've had a lot of comments, thank you very much, about Tom's guitars and wanting to know more, and so he thought he would do a little clip where he's talking about it mainly in regards to color, because he's like, as he sees as knitters how much we love our colors, and so he's sharing one of his special guitars that he thinks you'll be interested in, and I really want to include that. And at the end, as always, I want to include some nature footage, maybe some footage of Mimi being cute. We'll see how much time we have, but timestamps are found on the drop down menu as well, so you can skip around if there's something you're not interested in. Okay, so let's talk about my finished object, my first finished object, what I'm wearing, not the jumper. That is bought from Hanley Woolen Mills in County Tipperary, and I got this there. Now, it's an Irish jumper in that it's manufactured in Ireland, and it's kind of, got cables, but it's not Irish wool. It's merino, and merinos do not thrive in the Irish climate. It's too damp. So yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, and I'm you know, there's nothing wrong with buying something like this, but if you think you're buying a you know, a really, really Irish jumper or cardigan or sweater or whatever, it's not. If it's merino, it's just not. It is not going to be. So unless it actually says Irish wool on it, it probably isn't. And definitely if it says merino, it is surely not at all. So that's just a little thing to be in, you know, keep in mind. Anyway, so my finished object is my cowl. And this is from my own hand spun, which broke my heart trying to spin it because it was felted. And I talk about that journey one. My idea when I showed you the braid in podcast one, my idea for it, well, obviously did not work out trying to spin for socks because it was felted and I couldn't. I put it in after I finished spinning it, and it came out super bulky single because that was the only way. I put it in my Lucky Dip basket, which is a wonderful knit along idea from Kate of Hawthorne Cottage Craft, and she's up in Northern Ireland. And so there's a cowl. It's the Lucky Dip cowl, KAL, but you can crochet as well. Basically, the cowl is that you gather 12 skeins of yarn that you just, you know, kind of single skeins that are 2 grams and under, and you put them in different bags, and each month you pick a bag out to craft from as a surprise. Okay. This is going to be very good for my first crochet project ever, because I had found that the yarn I bought to do the crochet, it was not tightly spun enough and my hook kept getting caught. And all because I'm a new startup guide to crochet, you make little projects as you go after you know, do your practicing. And that first project was to make a headband. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to make that. But of course, as I went along, I realized I wanted to use all the yarn, and the headband wouldn't have used quite all the yarn. So I just went ahead, and it fit enough that, like, I can do... This is the second time I put something funny and pink on my head. Last podcast I did it as well. But so I just made it wider. See, this was where it was going to have a twist and all for the headband. Oh, that was where it was going to have a twist. But I just made it wider. And so I've made it as a cowl. But I can, it actually, you know, that way if I had a ponytail and I wanted to go out, but I needed to keep my ears warm, I could be very attractive and stylish indeed in this. Because out here in the country, I need to be, you know, looking stylish. Yeah, so that's my finished object. I'm so proud and pleased with it. I was wondering, would the Wensleydale be a bit itchy? I mean, this isn't tight up against my neck, but the day I made it, I wore it all day long, and it's not scratchy for me at all. So I know not everyone would be that way, because with the long wools, you tend to get, you know, the little fuzzy bits coming out. But I'm really, really super happy with it. Now, second finished object is also part of a cowl. So I'm doing the Rainbow Sock Chronicles 2021, and that's a cowl run by So Sweet Violet and Lay Family Yarns. And every month you make a different sock in the rainbow, and there's a color guide that you follow along. And you may remember, I tried to put the little eye. My first set of socks that I did were the light pink, and what I'm doing is I'm using minis. So each sock is different, because I'm finding that a 20 gram and a 10 gram mini will make one sock. So they're coordinating, but different. And so so what I'm doing is the first pair and this pair, I've made one sock as the heel flap and gusset, and another sock as the magic heel pattern from the Autumn Acorn Judy Jewel. And because this is my first foray, I've never knit socks before successfully, and I put an eye there because I talk about that, and I talk about how you can learn to knit socks, and you know, so that could be interesting for new sock knitters, could be helpful. And so this is the magic heel sock, so it looks very, very different. So this is my first pair, and then this was the Crazy Sock Lady K's 9-inch circular sock pattern. And this one did really well for me. This one didn't quite fit me properly, but I could tell, I knew that if I could just tweak it a little bit for my individual foot, it would probably fit better. So I wanted to try again. So I have, I just put this, I don't have a sock blocker. I just put the socks on my feet. Oh, and those, okay, I wanted to say too, the reason these socks look so mucky is because I've been wearing them And I wanted to show you how they're wearing, because some of the things, you know, that I was curious about would be how would the, you know, this kind of just heel wear against that heel. So of course, again, I wear them around the house inside, so there's a lot of dog hair and stuff. But so far, and I've been wearing them a lot this past month, in some shoes, as well as, oh she's going in the stream and there's a lot of mud. She's definitely part Labrador. Obviously, as a found puppy, we have no idea, but she is definitely Labrador. She loves the water. She loves sticks. They're two of the best things ever. And she has webbed feet, and she's so shiny. Everyone always comments, "Oh, your dog is so shiny," and she is. She is about the shiniest. She's definitely the shiniest dog I've ever had. And yeah. Anyways. And I think maybe one of the shiniest dogs I've ever even seen. And that's probably from the Labrador. You know, I think they have oils in their coat to keep the water out. Anyway, total digression, but she's fishing for sticks in the water. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about, yes. So far, I have not seen, I know it's early days, it's only a month, but I have seen no difference in the wear of these two kind of constructions anyway. So, but let me show you my new socks that I've done for the February February Rainbow Sock Chronicles. So, and they're on my feet. So I'm going to once again be very graceful and show you. So this is the heel flap and gusset one. And this one was not as successful for me because, I'll take it off now and show you. Towards the toe, I lost both my stitch markers. They fell off and I didn't realize because, yeah, I didn't realize. And then I couldn't figure out. So, see, the decreases have gone on the top of the foot, top of the toe rather than the sides. I couldn't figure out, I thought I'd figured out where, you know, the stitch markers went back, and so that the decreases would be on the side, but obviously I did not. But it's fine. Like, I mean, it's, yeah, it fits my foot just fine. So that was not as much of a success as the first time I did them. But to make up for that, the Magic Heel Sock is a success. So I had adjusted my foot length in this a bit. I had just lengthen it a bit because whatever way my foot was. And I think the next time I do it, I might even lengthen it up here, the heel part, just even maybe just half an inch or a quarter inch more. I'm just learning as I go. But that's so wonderful because it just is so much easier, you know, and you fly through it really. Now, one of the KALs I'm taking part in is, in last week's podcast 6, I was talking about Mina, the knitting expert, is doing the Around the World in 8 Socks KAL, and she has the sock pattern pack, and so I'm taking part in that. So I bought that pack, and she'll release the first pattern tomorrow. So, and it's designed to bring you along in your sock knitting skills, so that if you're just new at sock knitting, that, you know, the first one isn't going to make you go, oh God, I can't do that now. But yeah, so it's going to bring you along. So that's going to help expand my skills. So I'm thinking that for my March sock, I will try that pattern. And I'm just, depending on how I get on with it, I mean, I have no problem doing, you know, one sock and one pattern and the other and the other. It kind of is, you really can compare the wear of it that way as well, because you have them on at both the same time. And yeah, anyway, so that's just my thing. So I made those. Oh, and the yarn. So both of the socks use a felt fusion yarn, and the camera kind of makes it a little more neon than what it is. That's the other one. And the toes are actually, this toe is from Yarn Unique. And this toe, I think, you know, this toe I'm not actually sure at the minute. It might have been one of the Fairy Realm yarns. March's sock is orange or peach. And of course you may have just gathered there, I enjoy the really vibrant colors. And so I'm definitely going for more of the orange. And I love orange, it's one of my favorite colors. So let me show you the yarns I've chosen. So this is another, it's not as, another felt fusion from the Advent calendar, and I'm going to pair that one with this orange, which is from Dystopic Fibers, and that's a young man. Now that I'm in my 50s, I can say young man about people and young woman in Glasgow. And he's a newer dyer, and he did a lovely rainbow mini set that I was like, that's absolutely what I need to finish off some of my rainbow. So this is his orange. So I'm excited to knit with that. That'll be the first time I've knit with his yarns. So that's sock 1, and then sock 2 is again, it's another Felt Fusion Christmas Advent Mini. There we go. So it's blown out a little bit, but not too bad. I mean, it's pretty close. And then the 10 gram mini that I'm pairing with it is one from Fairy Realm Yarns. And, you know, you hear me talk about her all the time. I absolutely adore her bags. I love her mohair. Anyways, yeah, so I love her yarns as well. It's from her, it was from her Sparkle Mini set. So I don't think you can really see the sparkles. So, yeah, so I'm really, really excited about that. Longer now, so I got these on Aldi. Aren't they cute? Or Lidl. They were €3, and they came with the little thingy, so like, you know, I can hang this around my neck when I'm knitting, and a little felt case. So I don't know, I just thought that was pretty cool. And they had some orange ones, but they didn't have I got 1.5 strength. Anyways, that's a digression. But if you're finding you need, you know, for that really close small work, if you need glasses, you can check them out. So I'm still working on my friend Susanna's alpaca shawl. So this is the natural color of the alpaca. I haven't gotten real far because I was working with my test knit, and I was wanting to finish my lucky dip and my socks for February, and also gardening is happening now. So I've sowed about 300 little seeds. So I've been busy doing that. So the last time I was here, and so now I've gotten a bit further. It's just a plain black triangle shawl where I'm just knitting, but on the ends I do a slip stitch, slip purlwise with the yarn in front. And this is Susanna's own alpacas. So she has black alpacas and she has black Zwartbles sheep. So you may know her, let me see, as Zwartbles Ireland. And so this is her alpaca yarn. As I said on the last, I'm so enjoying it. It is so lovely, and it's a real joy to knit. Technically an errand in weight because alpaca is often heavier than wool, but the actual thickness of it is, you know, probably like a heavy fingering or a sport maybe. But I'm using a little bit larger needle size than you would, because it's going to be a shawl, and just it's giving it a little bit airiness. So it's going quickly, but I had to get my wooden needles because it was just way too slippy for the metal. Oh yes, but what I was saying is, so because I'm knitting it sort of on a looser gauge, it's meaning that I can, in just, you know, decent evening light, I can see it even though it's black. I'm actually not finding an issue. If it was really thin, you know, and a very tight gauge, it would probably be a problem, but I'm actually finding it. Hi friend. Right over there in the hawthorn tree. Hello friend. Yeah, so really enjoying that. And yes, so that's a gift for Susanna. The other thing I'm knitting on is I'm knitting on another cowl, and this is a test knit for Gabby of the Knit Witch crafting podcast. I have it in my little fox pouch from Elena O'Neill on Etsy. And this is out of my Giddy Aunt yarns. This is the DK weight, and these were Advent Mini. Got in a mess, but as you can see, I'm not very far along. But this is called the Forest Floor cowl. Oh, the yarn is so soft. And I'm doing like a sort of a fade, but it's not really a fade because it's going to be striped, but so this is the one I'm using at the minute. Then I'll go into, there we go, I think that's focusing, into these two and end up with that. That's the plan. Moving into sort of the ooh shiny part where I get distracted by, you know, shiny interesting things that you might also be interested in as well. One of the things that I talked about last time was the cowl that stitches and basically, so it's a make-along, so because it's for anything. If you have less than 50% of anything made, that will, so if you have a WIP that's less than 50%, that will be part of the cowl. You can, or the mal, you can enter it in. Prizes are going to be drawn quarterly. It's year long. It's on her Ravelry group, but also she says, you know, message her on Instagram, or probably she has her email. When you go to her podcast, she puts all her social up there. And so you can enter that way as well if you're not able to use Ravelry because it's not accessible for you. So I thought I have a couple kits that have been sitting around, and I have an embroidery kit of a fox, which is beautiful. But I also, even older than that, like sort of 2 years ago, I bought, so I do needle felting. But I bought at Aldi, they had some kits of needle felting, and I bought them because I just wanted to see what they were like. Like I already knew how to needle felt, but I just wanted to check out their kits so I could say if they were good or not, I could recommend them to people. Well, I never did them. One of them is a fox. So I'm going to get that out, and I'm going to do, that is going to be my project for Q1. So that was ooh shiny, and that might be something you're interested in as well. The other thing that I just didn't intend to do at all is that Heather and Hops podcast is doing a Spring Intentions cowl. Now, I think that this, so she has the pattern and there are kits and everything, and a little bag to go with. So, but that's all sold out at the minute. I just got the bag and the pattern. It's the Spring Intentions cowl, and you make a beautiful wrap. And what really appealed to me about this make-along, this cowl, was that there's a lot of contemplative parts with it. So along with the pattern, so it's sort of like, it's not a mystery in that you see, she's shown you what you're going to end up with, but each month, I think it is, you get another piece of the pattern. So it's very much slow, intentional knitting. And it starts on the spring equinox, which I believe this year is the 21st of March. But she's also including like different, you know, writings and contemplative practices and all. And there's a link, there's a special Discord group. So it's really, really nice. And so I ordered, there's a lovely little bag and the pattern, and that was on her Etsy shop. So I ordered that. That was only, I think it was £10. So I could order that from, even though it's coming from the UK, anything under €22 in value, including shipping, comes here without getting all the extra fees. So I was able to do that. I have not opened the bag yet, and that's because I wanted to show you how lovely she has packaged this. I just think she seems like just this really sweet, considerate person. And she takes a lot of time doing things, which is probably one reason why, you know, she can't do 50, 100 million of these. So it came like this, and I just want to show you there. It came with this beautiful yarn. Can you see? Sort of two different shades of yarn. Isn't that I just thought it was so pretty, and everything coordinates, like even the tea colors coordinate. And she made a little lovely handwritten note, and that all coordinates. It was really lovely. I mean, I know a lot of people do that sort of thing, but I don't know, I was just really, the yarn and everything was just so lovely. So I'm gonna just, and of course herself is here because she's interested when I open packages. Are you gonna have a sniff, are you? She's wet, actually, I don't. So I'm just gonna open this now and show you. Oh look, and there's a lovely little lavender sachet as well. And she's hand stitched that up. And this is the little bag. Hope that wasn't too noisy. So a lovely little unbleached cotton bag. And it says, knit with intention, treasure your creations. So I thought that was super, super nice. So, so you could check with her and see, can you just buy the pattern? I'm not sure. But the bags are all sold out, and I think the kits, she was offering the yarn kits through Whistlebear, which seems like a wonderful small dyeing company. I don't know if it's one person or two, but then they have their own animals, and they're in Scotland, I believe. And the kits were lovely, but it was just, I have my own yarn. I have yarn. And I'll talk about the yarns that I'm going to use. It's a beautiful faded rainbow mini set from Fairy Realm Yarns, and for the main color I have some grey Cascade 220 that I'm going to use, and I'm really excited about that, but I'll show you that another time. So this is just my little gratitude section as well, where I had been sent some beautiful things from friends, and I just wanted to show you because they're craft related. So from the US, our lovely friend Marilyn, her daughter, like grown, you know, Marilyn is older than us, so she is the most lovely person, and she's an author, and she's one of these, she's one of these people that, excuse me, I don't want to fall into the stream there because I'm like literally right next to the bank, and yeah. But Marilyn is just a lovely, kind, thoughtful person, and she always has positive things to say. But her daughter has made these little quilted placemats, and she sent 2 of them to us for me and Tom for Valentine's. So yeah, and I don't know if you can see, but it sparkles. So the fabric has got sparkles on it. I love me some sparkles. So yeah, she sent us 2 of those. So I want to find out from her if her daughter is, I don't know if she's got a little shop that she's selling them on Etsy, or if she just is making these. But I thought that was really sweet, and I just wanted to share that on the podcast because I know Marilyn watches the podcast when she can, and it really touched us. And then I got another lovely surprise, and this is fiber craft related, from my friend Sandra Marshall, who is Zwartbles. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Actually, I must ask her to say it for me. She creates under the name Zwartbles, and she sells through Irish Fiber Crafters, so she's part of our crafting group. And she sent me this, and it's so wonderful. I'm going to see, will she make something similar or different, but something for us as a giveaway. Can you see? These little antennae, it is, I'm sure it's, you know, peacock feather. You can strip a little bit off the peacock feather. So it's just like a dragonfly's antenna. I'll just hide my face so maybe it'll focus. And its little legs. It is just, imagine if something like that landed on your feet. But anyway, so it's just a lovely, lovely little piece. And knowing Sandra, she's not just created it, she's felted and made this wool herself and dyed it herself, and it's probably Irish wool as well because she works almost exclusively in Irish wool. So isn't that lovely? So I'm gonna see, I'm gonna commission her to make something, you know, small that will be easily be shipped somewhere for for us as part of the giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers. So I wanted to share that with you because that was just so kind of her. And yeah, and it just made me think, yeah, I'd like to share that with other people. Okay, so, oh no, I have one more thing. So you may remember on the podcast where I talk about, I was starting on the February 1st Bridges Day podcast, where I was starting my Brack cardigan, which is by Irish designer Carol Feller. And it's a cardigan, and it has one large button. And I bought it in a beautiful foxy colorway because, you know, if you watched, you know, me and foxes. And as well as the really vibrant colors, I love the kind of foxy autumnal tones as well. But I was looking for a button that would go nicely with that, like a fox button. And I found someone who's making the handmade buttons out of fabric in France. And the name is, I'm not going to say this properly, Tranquillement, I think, was her name, or her shop name. And Jessie. And so she sent me a little note on this lovely card, but she hasn't actually got her information on it, but I'll link it below. And look at the lovely bag that it came in. Oh, did you hear my tummy rumble? So I thought that was nice. So I'm saving this bag and the little sticker, handmade for you. But I want to show you the buttons because they're inexpensive and they're really, really cute. So of course I got a couple different types because, you know, it doesn't make sense to buy something that's like €3 and then pay €3 in postage for one item when you can get a few more items and pay the same postage pretty much anyway. So she had 2 different types of fox buttons, and I'm crinkling, I'm sorry. Hold that away. So look. Oh, aren't they so sweet? And then this one here, again, apologies for crinkling. I didn't want to take them out of the packaging. And this lovely little sticker she has on the packaging as well. Yeah. And this is woodland animals, and there's also a fox there. So we have the red squirrel and the robin and the bunny. And then I saw this, which made me go, oh my goodness. It looks so like Oven Mitt the cat. So if you follow Susanna Zwartbles Ireland, Zwartbles IE, she has her YouTube channel. She's very active on Twitter, and she has Instagram and Facebook. I think she has Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, so Oven Mitt is the farm cat that took over as the shepherd cat after Bodacious died. And she has a funny story as why he's called Oven Mitt, and that I believe is in her book, Bodacious the Shepherd Cat. Anyways, I saw these buttons and I was like, oh my goodness, it's Oven Mitt. And you know, I'm making her that black alpaca shawl. And if you'd seen the way I was wearing my grandmother oak shawl, you know, kind of clasped here, and you could also clasp it here and here to make it very much like a poncho. So I have 4 skeins of her alpaca yarn that I think it's going to make quite a big shawl, especially on the loose gauge. So it might be that I might put some buttons on there for her, so if she wants to use it that way, she can also button it. So that's that. I'm not having a really extensive section on the Ooh Shiny at the moment, just because I've been so busy. I'm just being quiet. Sheppy is here now. He's laying over there in the sun. Okay, friends. So I'll put some footage at the end, nature footage. I'll put in probably, you know, some Tom's little bit of guitar color chat, and also he filmed one where he's talking about the quilt that's in the main room where we usually podcast. That's an heirloom quilt from his family, and he mentions that as well. So that will either go in this video or another. I hope you and yours are well as can be. I hope this podcast has been enjoyable, been a distraction if you need it. I know when times were hard for me, particularly hard, I started watching knitting podcasts even before I could knit. just because some of them were so lovely and calm and distracting. So, yeah. If you're doing that, I totally understand. I hope you're hearing the birds and the stream. And if you haven't got that immediately in your life right now, you can just take that sound and somehow just hold it in your heart throughout the day. And find the little joyous things that are around you, because they're there as well. They're there as well. I wish I could just package this and send it to you, or yeah, I wish that you have those precious moments of peace and joy, and that they expand for you and everyone around you, and for all of us, for the whole world and beyond. Take care, friends. With love from Wild Cottage.
Hello, I'm Tom. People who watch Susan's podcasts have shown some interest in my guitars, and so we thought maybe I'd just do a few little pieces about some of my different guitars, because people might find it interesting. I'm wearing my hat here. If you can see there, it's backwards, probably. It actually says Port Colborne. I grew up in Port Colborne in Ontario, Canada. It's on Lake Erie. So I like this hat. And I've been in Ireland 30-something years. I'm not sure now. 93 I came here. And I have a lot of guitars. I've gone through a lot of guitars. I used to play in wedding bands and different bands in Ireland. I don't play out anymore. I just play at home. But I do like collecting them because it's just nice. And nowadays with computer-controlled machines, the companies can make very good guitars for quite little money. So I get them, fix them up, and I sell them and change them around. So a lot of why I get different guitars is the colors. And I notice the people in the podcast are obviously very interested in their colors, and that's just part of what we like. So guitars are the same. So I thought the first guitar I'll show you is this one. This is my Hello Kitty guitar. Now, I got this about 10 years ago. I got it almost as a joke on a trade, and I got it for a laugh. And, well, they're made in 2007, 2008. It's just for a few years, and they're obviously geared for 12, 13, 14-year-old girls. It's a bit lighter, it's smaller. It's nice. And they're now collector's items. Not hugely valuable, but they're kind of nice. People collect them. And sometimes on YouTube and online, you'll find famous and even very famous guitarists will have these, and they'll play heavy metal. In fact, I once played a gig for a biker club, motorcycle club, and I played Black Sabbath on this guitar for a bunch of leather-clad bikers, and it works fine. So it's a fun little guitar. And you can do kitty noises with it. And play pink kitty themed music with it. I love that chord. So that's that. And one time I put a whammy on this and do Jimi Hendrix things. But I took it off, and the nail holes, I patched them up with Revlon pink nail polish. So I like to keep this. I won't ever trade this away because it's nice. It just has a lot of history and it's fun. It looks nice on the wall. So I thought you'd enjoy this. So hope that was fun. Okay, this is a short video just to show some little thing. Mimi here, you may have seen in a previous video her bringing a big stick home, because often when we're on a walk she'll find a stick, she'll bring it home, and before she goes in the house, as like a good girl, she drops them down here somewhere. There's a few over there, so I just collect them and throw them here. What have you got? Oh, what a surprise. Your stick. She heard the word stick, so there's her stick. So I have to collect them because they get everywhere. Over here, where did they go? That's right, what a good girl. So I just go over here, and I thought you might find it. Let's go. You might find interesting her stick collection. I collect guitars. Susan collects her wool and her yarns. Mimi, she collects sticks. Yeah. So that's Mimi's prize stick collection that she's been bringing. What a good girl. This trip, I've got a nice stick. Well, it's a piece of firewood. And look, someone's helping. She's got 2 sticks. Yep, we'll both carry sticks. Yeah, that's right. We'll both take them home. Good girl.
This is the area we call the secret garden. We just had a little siskin there on the feeding tray, defending. The sunflower seeds are in there, defending from all comers. There it is again. So there's a chaffinch having a little sneaky grab. I see cold tits, there's lots of great tits, there's lots of birds in the trees. But they're just hanging out in the tree because that little siskin, which is probably the very smallest aside from the cold tit at the minute, it was really keeping everyone away. The blue tit and the chaffinch and this female siskin there. Look at snowdrops. Can you hear the trickle of water and the birds? I hope so.